Hello chess family, it's me National Master Jesse James, and today we're going to be doing a review over our June Grand Prix. This is a monthly tournament where we play one game each week on Wednesday, and well, Luke was able to win this tournament. Not too bad since he played in the top section, which is 1500 and above, and he was rated 1600, and he took out everyone. He took out 1900s, 2000s. Let's take a look at a review of his games. Alright, the first one where he's playing is Ruthvik, one of our local favorites here and upcoming young scholastic players. Here we go. He was able to take him out with e4, c5. We got a Sicilian over here. Knight f3, e6. d4, takes, knight c6, bishop to e3, queen c7. Here we got like a Tamanov variation over here. Bishop to d3, knight f6, castles, bishop e7, pawn to f4. Very good move, threatening pawn to e5 to control the center. Of course, Ruthvik goes ahead and plays pawn to d6. Queen over to e2, bishop to d7, knight c3, a6. Very common to go ahead and push on the queen side over here. a4, stopping this idea. And then here Ruthvik goes ahead and plays pawn to e5. An interesting move here. I can't say I like it too much as this does create two weak squares over here in the center. And, well, I don't think Luke handled this best with knight to f5. Bishop takes on f5, pawn takes on f5. Now, although black did lose the bishop pair, he does have these two good pawns in the center here and has achieved equality. But at this move, he does make a mistake and plays he castles queenside. Alright, what is so wrong with this move? Just so you know for the future, if you don't know already, whenever you're playing in a Sicilian as black, it's usually not good to castle queenside, as Luke is going to demonstrate very fast here. Here we played pawn to a5, threatening bishop over to b6, threatening a nice little skewer right there. Knight to d7, and here it is a forced win. Knight to d5, okay, queen is forced back to b8, and now a very nice combination here. White to move, what do you play? Hopefully you push pause, try to figure this one out. Here a beautiful combination. Bishop takes on a6. If you don't take back, you're just losing. So, well, he went ahead and took. Queen takes on a6, queen b7, and this was the end of the combination. Queen takes on c6 here. Check, he's winning back his piece and just being up a few extra pawns. Queen takes, knight takes on e7, king b7, knight takes, king takes. And here, well, as you can see, with all these nice passed pawns over here, Luke was able to win the game quite easily. Alright, let's go ahead and go on to the next game. This one was against Matthew Ortiz. These are going to be highlights of the game and not the whole thing. And, well, Matthew is a very strong player. He's playing the white side of it. Here, unfortunately, he just made the very bad move of pawn to h3. This looks like a Bayoni-like structure here. And, well, Luke was not nice to him and just went ahead and destroyed him at this point. Here he went ahead and played pawn to h4, kicking the knight from its very good square. So now the knight went back to h1, and this is actually pretty common. The knight will then be rerouted to f2 to guard on e4, maybe even on g4 to go ahead and defend over here or be traded off. And, well, what happens here? Here Luke just grabs an extra pawn. So knight takes on e4, knight takes on e4, rook takes on e4, and here queen to d3 got played. A mistake, black to move and win. Seems like Luke was just getting combinations all over the board in this tournament. All right, did you find the move yet? Here, black to move, you go ahead and play. Rook takes on e3 here. And here, well, of course you can't take back, so Matthew went ahead and played queen to d2. Wait a second. Why can't you take back? If queen takes on e3 here, well, you just set yourself up for another nice pin right here. Here you're going to go ahead and play bishop over to d4, and it is game over. You are losing your queen. So Matthew went ahead and played queen to d2. The rest of the game, wow, it's just really giveaway pieces over here. Bishop to d4, another nice move here, setting up a nice discovery. Knight to f2, knight takes on d5. It is all falling apart now. King to h1, knight takes on f4, knight to d1, knight takes on e2 here, knight takes on e3. Why did he let this fall? As you'll see right now, knight to g3 check gets played, king to h2, bishop takes, queen takes, and knight takes f1 check. Rook takes, as you can see here, he's just up an extra piece here, and the rest of the game is pretty easy. Rook takes on b2. The new target here is the g2 pawn. Queen to h6. I guess this is mostly a pseudo kind of threat. Queen to e7. Queen back to c1. Queen to e5 check. The idea is really just to defend the rook over here so we can bring our bishop into the game. King over to h1, and here Luke is just being rude. Rook takes on g2. I was expecting bishop c6 here just to target the pawn, but Luke here wants to make every move as forceful as possible, and I do not blame him. Here, queen c4 got played. If you do try to play king takes on g2, it is forced checkmate again. Queen g3 check, king to h1, bishop c6 check, and the best they can do is just block over here with the rook. So here, I mean, the game is pretty much over. Queen c4 got played, threatening on f7, but hey, we got checkmate in 1 right here with queen to h2. All right, on to the next challenge. Here, Luke is now playing against a 2000 expert. And here, well, Luke had been watching my videos, and one of the games that I went over was the Marshall attack. And, well, he was playing with the black pieces here, and he goes for it, pawn to d5. This is something he didn't know until he was watching, and he said he liked it, so he went ahead and played it. Here we go, pawn takes on d5, knight takes on d5, knight takes on e5, knight takes, rook takes, and knight to f6. Now, this is a very old line. This actually looks a lot like the game from Capablanca versus Marshall, the first game. In that one, Marshall had come up with this idea as black, and, well, he came up with this really nice idea to sacrifice the pawn but get a very strong kingside attack. Apparently, he sat on this move for 7 years until releasing it upon Capablanca, who played the white pieces. Well, Capablanca was an extraordinary player and was actually able to win that game even in a very tough position here. Unfortunately, for our strong player here, our expert, Jason, he was not able to defend. Here we go. There he goes, a pawn to d4. As you can see here, although we are up an extra pawn, we are lacking some development. And here comes black with the attack. Bishop d6, attacking the rook, really looking to attack the weak h2 pawn. Rook back to e1, and here it comes, knight to g4. Here comes the attack. You can see the bishops, knight, and the queen are ready for the attack here. And here he went ahead and played pawn to h3, trying to kick the knight. And just like Marshall, here Luke goes ahead and plays queen to h4 here, bringing it in. And man, this attack is getting too strong here. Only move here, queen to f3. Notice here, if you do try to take on g4, it is game over. Queen h2 check, king is forced to f1. Queen h1 check, king to e2. Bishop takes on g4 check. A nice skewer here, attacking the king, but of course it's the queen behind it. Of course, if you try to block, queen takes on g2, and it's just going to be game over here. So you can see this king is not anywhere where he needs to be, and the sacrifice is definitely worth it with a negative 11 advantage. Oof. Going back to the game, so queen f3 got played over here, and here, well, this is just like I said, the Capablanca game. Knight takes on f2 gets played, and here we play queen takes on f2. I believe in the other game he went ahead and played rook to e2, although I'm not sure if memory serves me right, but here rook e2 is actually going to be the move here. If you do take on f2, now it is very nice. We're going to go ahead and play bishop to h2 check. This forces the king over to f1, and now bishop to g3. Now, this is very important that this king is on f1 here. Why? If it wasn't, then queen takes on f7 check would just be winning, as after rook takes, well, rook to e8 would be mate. Notice it doesn't work here because rook takes on f7 is in check here. So this would be a major blunder for those looking for that tactical endgame. So here it's very important that the king is on f1 so that the pin will happen, or the rook will be able to attack the king. So here, after bishop to g3, queen went over to f3. I mean, there really is no other good move here. If the queen tries to go to d2, yes, you could take on e1 here, but here you can go ahead and sacrifice on h3. Bishop takes on h3, g takes on h3, and oof, it just looks like a very, very devastating attack here. Bishop takes on e1, and queen takes on e1. Oof, queen takes h3, and you can see that the rooks will jump in here very, very fast. Although there were some defending chances, I could definitely understand why he didn't play into it. So queen f3 got played. Bishop takes on e1, and again, Luke just runs rampant here. Here, bishop to e3. Notice that queen f3 did make a threat to attack the rook, the undefended rook over here, on a8, but here, if the queen takes, well, we just have a nice checkmate on 1 here. So, bishop e3 got played. Now we are threatening to take. Pawn to a5 got played. Now, here, another very tricky move here. Why can't we just take the rook? Technically, you can, but I'm not going to say I would be taking the rook anytime here soon. As after queen takes a8, I'm pretty sure Luke had a lot of different plans in mind with where to move the bishop to. Most likely something like bishop to g4, maybe bishop takes on h3, maybe even bishop to f5, threatening bishop to d3 here. So many winning ideas here. As you can see, it's just going to be a discovery attack. Back to the game. So, a5, knight to e3. Here, Jason does not want to be grabbing any pieces anytime soon. He just wants to develop. Knight a3, attacking the bishop. Rook over to a6, another shocker. He was probably expecting Luke to go ahead and move the bishop away, and then he says, you know what, now I can go ahead and take. But now Luke goes ahead and plays rook a6 with a very nice idea of rook to f6 for a pin and a win. All right, queen e2 got played. Bishop to g3, knight over to c2. Bishop to h2, taking away the escape square, for this king to run to. Rook f6 would just rush the king over to its square that it wants to get to is g1. Although this would still be winning here for black, as there's just too many attackers here. So bishop h2, a nice idea. Bishop d5, a very nice resource here by Jason, bringing the bishop back to f3 over here. Rook f6 check, bishop f3, and here we go. Luke keeps crushing through here. Bishop takes on h3. Dear Lord, what is going on here? Here white goes ahead and plays bishop to f2. What happens if we do take on h3? After g takes on h3, queen takes on h3. The king is forced over to e1, and we simply just win it back, and even ideas about rook e8 is now in the game. So bishop f2, trying to get a tempo off this queen. Bishop to g3, not today. Bishop to g1. Bishop g4, let's go ahead and pin it and win it. Knight e1, trying to go ahead and defend over here. And here, rook e6, let's go ahead and pin it and win it. I mean, this king is just not doing well in this position, which is not too surprising as black's pieces are just too active here. Queen to d2 got played. Rook f to e8. Go ahead and keep adding pressure into the position. And unfortunately, this was one of the last mistakes that's going to be happening. Knight to d3, queen to f6. And here, queen to d1, game over. What do you play here? Simple chess. Here, rook to e1 check, just trading down to a winning endgame. Knight takes, rook takes, queen takes, bishop takes, rook takes. And here, pawn to h5 got played. Hopefully nobody here took on f3, falling for the back rank checkmate here. So here, Luke safely plays pawn to h5, and this is just a devastating position with a -7 advantage. At this point, well, the game goes on for a little bit longer, but we know what's going to happen here. Jason is going to be losing in this game. All right, on for our last game here. This was against local favorite David Pacheco, right around 1500 over here. This was Luke's last game in trying to play for that perfect score with the 4-0. And, well, in this game he's playing the white pieces. He played the Anderson opening, which was pawn to a3 to start the game. It transposed into a c4 English. And, well, as you can see here, things went quite well as he just has a really strong center. And let's see him take it home for the win. Pawn to e4, just taking up the center. Bishop to d7. Pawn to f4. One of my favorite things to do is get these pawns in the center, especially f4 as it opens up the rook. The knight went over to b5. Pawn to d5. Here a nice idea about trying to get the queen on the long diagonal in the future. Pawn to b6. a4 kick in the knight. And unfortunately he plays bishop to c5 check. King h1. Knight to d4. This was definitely a mistake as the knight just gets trapped. Yes, it feels good to attack the queen, but here the queen just went to c3. And now you're saying, uh-oh, now we realize that the knight is being pinned. And also, well, it's just trapped here. There's nowhere safe for the knight to move to. Pawn f6 got played, queen c4, now threatening d6 check over here, and also just threatening bishop takes over here. Here, queen e8 was played, and now he simply just gathers up the free material. Bishop takes, queen takes, pawn to b5. Here, of course, David is trying to create some kind of counterplay here, but it's not going to work out too well for him. Pawn takes on b5, pawn takes on b5, knight to b3. Each piece is just looking great here. King to g7 here, walking right into the attack. Rook f to c1, free tempo off the pawn on c7, queen c8, and here we go, pawn to e5 here. What's better than one pawn in the center? Two pawns, and these pawns are just marching forward over here. F takes, bishop to f5, and here we go, pawn to e6 check. At this point, David Pacheco went ahead and threw in the towel, as there really is nothing good to do in this situation. This is plus 10 here, so you can see you got these beautiful pawns running forward. Trades are going to happen, and yeah, you're just up an extra piece. Congratulations to Luke for a beautiful tournament. He went ahead and gained 100 points, so he is no longer 1,600, but now in the 1,700 section. He is playing in the July Grand Prix, so we're going to see if he can take it again. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this. If you haven't already, go ahead and give us that like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.